Increase velocity to 40 meters per second. The turbulence on the edges is minimal.
Imagine a place on Earth where not a single drop of rain falls for years. Endless sand, burning heat, and silence that feels almost lifeless. Now imagine this. People there are collecting thousands of liters of clean drinking water every single day. Not by digging wells, not through pipelines, not even through expensive desalination plants, but directly from the air. Sounds impossible? German engineers developed a revolutionary technology capable of extracting water from the dry desert air. No complex machinery, no massive electricity consumption, no powerful pumps, just giant nets. Yes, these enormous mesh structures, which look like ordinary fences, begin to fill with thousands of tiny water droplets every morning. Tiny droplets slowly grow larger, then merge into flowing streams of water. And within hours, a dry mountain peak turns into a source of life. That water then travels down to villages below, supplying entire communities. Places where women once walked 5 hours every day just to collect dirty water, now have clean water flowing near their homes. But this story gets even more incredible. Building this technology meant facing violent storms, hurricane-force winds reaching 120 kilometers an hour, deadly sandstorms, and repeated failures. In fact, there was a time when experts officially declared collecting water from air on an industrial scale is impossible. But one man refused to accept that. A German industrial designer. He discovered an ancient secret hidden in nature, a secret that had survived for centuries. A single tree. Yes, just one tree. A tree that once supplied water to hundreds of people on an island with no rivers, no lakes, and almost no rainfall. The question is, where did that water come from? And how did that mystery become the key to producing millions of liters of water in the world's driest deserts? In today's video, we will explore how CloudFisher technology captures water from air, why earlier fog collection systems failed, how this system survives brutal Sahara sandstorms, and why scientists believe this invention could help solve one of humanity's biggest future crises. Watch until the end, because by the end of this video, you'll discover something remarkable. Sometimes, the technology of the future is hidden inside the wisdom of the past. A small fishing village called Chungungo faced a devastating crisis. Its underground wells had completely dried up. There was no reliable source of clean drinking water left. Once a week, water trucks arrived at the village carrying limited supplies. Families waited in long lines for hours just to receive a small amount of water. For the people living there, water had become more precious than gold. Then, a group of researchers proposed an unusual experiment. Instead of digging deeper into the ground, they looked up. High above the village stood a mountain constantly touched by thick fog, drifting in from the Pacific Ocean. The researchers climbed to the mountain's summit, carrying simple plastic mesh nets. Their idea sounded almost absurd. Could fog be turned into drinking water? They installed large vertical mesh panels designed to trap tiny droplets from passing clouds. Then they waited. What happened next shocked everyone. By the next morning, thousands of microscopic droplets had formed on the mesh. Those droplets slowly merged, became larger, and began flowing downward into collection channels. The experiment worked, and not just slightly. The system started collecting up to 15,000 liters of clean water every single day. It was unbelievable. For the first time, villagers could grow vegetables near their homes. Children no longer had to spend hours searching for water. Life was changing. But then, disaster struck. One day, a violent ocean storm arrived. Winds exceeded 100 kilometers per hour. The flat mesh panels suddenly acted like giant sails. Air pressure increased dramatically. Metal support structures began bending. Steel cables snapped. Within minutes, the entire system collapsed. The plastic mesh tore apart like paper. The collected water spilled directly into the dry sand below. Just like that, the village lost its miracle. The failure sent shockwaves through the engineering world. Investors pulled out. Funding disappeared. Experts concluded that large-scale atmospheric water harvesting was unrealistic. The verdict was harsh. This technology had no future. For years, the idea was nearly forgotten, until one man decided to revisit the failure. His name was Peter Trautwein, a German industrial designer. Instead of asking why the idea failed, he asked a better question. What exactly caused the failure? He carefully studied the Chilean disaster. Then he found the core problem. The old design tried to fight the wind with rigid resistance, and in nature, anything rigid eventually breaks. Peter realized something revolutionary. The wind should not be resisted. It should be allowed to pass through. That single insight changed everything. Instead of flat, rigid nets, he imagined a flexible, three-dimensional structure. A structure that could bend, adapt, and survive even extreme storms. Soon, he assembled a team of engineers and founded Aqualonis. For years, they tested materials inside wind tunnels in Munich. Hundreds of experiments, countless failures. But eventually, they created something extraordinary.
Watch your step on
A
this
technology called CloudFisher. CloudFisher was unlike anything built before. At first glance, it looked simple, just a giant mesh stretched between metal poles. But behind that simple appearance was years of engineering. The mesh was made from highly durable monofilament fibers, specially designed to survive extreme weather. Its three-dimensional structure solved the biggest problem older systems couldn't overcome. Instead of blocking powerful winds, it allowed air to pass through. This dramatically reduced aerodynamic pressure. Even hurricane-force winds could move through the mesh without tearing it apart. But that wasn't the most impressive part. The real magic happened at the microscopic level. Fog is made of billions of tiny suspended water droplets. Most are so small that the human eye can barely see them. As fog-laden air passes through the CloudFisher mesh, these microscopic droplets collide with the fibers. They stick to the surface. More droplets arrive. Tiny droplets merge into larger droplets. The droplets grow heavier until gravity takes over. Then, water begins to flow downward. No electricity, no motors, no pumps, just physics. Pure and simple. Now came the real test. Peter and his team needed to prove that CloudFisher could survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. They chose a brutal location, the western edge of the Sahara Desert. More specifically, a mountain called Boutmezguida in Morocco. This place was merciless. For years, the region had seen almost no rainfall. Local villagers were skeptical. Foreign engineers claiming they could make water from air sounded ridiculous. Many didn't believe it, but the engineers continued. Piece by piece, they carried every component up the mountain.